A long time ago, in the sun-scorched lands of Syria, nestled within an oasis of whispering palms, lived an old man named Wali. Shunning the trappings of wealth and status, he sought a life of quiet devotion. His humble abode, a mere hut fashioned from mud brick and straw, stood as a stark contrast to the opulence of the nearby towns. Day after day, his voice rose in prayer, the soft rhythm blending with the desert wind, carrying his supplications towards God. Drawn by tales of his piety, weary travelers and those seeking spiritual guidance would often journey to his remote sanctuary. But one day, the rhythm of his life was broken by an unwelcome guest. The landlord of the region, a man named Basir, arrived unannounced, his entourage raising a cloud of dust that choked the oasis. Basir was infamous for his insatiable greed and the heavy hand with which he ruled. His heart, it was said, was as barren as the desert that surrounded them. And yet, a flicker of desperation had led him to Wali's door, some unnamed yearning for a peace that his wealth could not buy. Wali, accustomed to welcoming the downtrodden, felt an immediate aversion towards this man. There was a darkness clinging to Basir, a shadow cast by countless deeds of cruelty. When the landlord, startled by the hermit's lack of customary warmth, dared to ask why, Wali's answer was sharp as a blade. He spoke of the interconnectedness of all creation, of how every act of oppression was a wound inflicted upon the heart of God. His words painted vivid images of the tears Basir had caused, the whispered curses that trailed him like ghosts. The landlord left that day not with peace, but with a storm brewing within his soul. The hermit's words refused to leave him, tormenting his sleep. For the first time, he saw the faces of those he had exploited, not nameless peasants, but living souls, each a precious facet of God's design. An unfamiliar pang of guilt pierced his hardened heart. It was the beginning of a grueling transformation. Driven by a mix of shame and a desperate desire for absolution, Basir started a quiet revolution within himself and his domain. Small gestures of kindness were his first, tentative steps. A fair wage, a forgiven debt. Slowly his actions grew bolder, building a well for a parched village, releasing tenants from unfair contracts. Each act was like tearing a thorn from his own spirit. The changes were not unnoticed. Whispers rippled through the region, tales of the reformed landlord. Wali's message of love and respect took root in surprising soil, softening hearts calloused by years of power and greed. And thus, the story of the hermit and the landlord ends, a testament to the extraordinary power of faith, of how darkness can give way to light. It reminds us that the most bitter cruelty towards God's children is also a wound inflicted on our own souls, and that the path to redemption, though hard, always lies open before us.